Good morning, beautiful people. My name is Dr. David Goldberg, and welcome to Unity on the Avenue. We are a community that welcomes all people, honors all faith traditions and relational orientations, as well as all paths to the divine and those not on a spiritual path. Whatever your past, whatever your present, you are welcome here. Thank you for choosing to join us. You know, in these interesting times, we have a slightly different order of service. And you will notice that the church has left the building. So today I'll be offering my talk from our beautiful garden and labyrinth between our two buildings, and our musicians will be joining me as well. So we're doing everything that we can to support you in new and interesting and loving and safe ways. Please know that our labyrinth is always open and you are always welcome to walk it, to dance it, to move through it however you choose, and allow it to support you on your spiritual path. And you know, one of the reasons we are able to maintain these grounds so beautifully and so perfectly is through your ongoing gifts and tithes and contributions. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We take that fiduciary responsibility seriously. We try to pay attention to all of your gifts and use them appropriately and in wonderful ways to support the community, as well as getting the broader message out to the world that we are all one. So for those who choose to continue to contribute, to continue to give, there are several ways for you to do that. You can send us a check to Unity on the Avenue. You can visit our website at unityontheavenue.org. And you can text to give or download the app. So however you choose, please know that we humbly, graciously, and gratefully receive your gifts. Please join me in blessing our gifts and offerings. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And please now also join me in our statement of faith. There is only one power and presence in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent.
On behalf of the prayer chaplains, I am going to read a prayer written by Penny Ware, our prayer chaplain, and also our licensed Unity teacher. So I invite you to relax as we honor these moments of silence. Take a deep, healing breath and center yourself. Allow these words of this prayer to become one with you. There is only one presence and power in the universe active in our lives, God the good, omnipotent. And we are one with that presence and with that power. Bring your soul, mind, body, all your awareness to that one presence, one power, and open your heart to what it feels like to be together in prayer. To experience that one presence and power. In prayer, we are blessing ourselves and others with words of affirmation and loving care. As we focus on our needs and desires, we send positive, uplifting thoughts, and we steadily envision the highest and best outcomes unfolding in our lives. There is no place, no condition, no circumstance where God's good is not. And as we come together, we release any obstacle, any resistance to this truth. For we know that it is Spirit's intention to always express itself through our lives and conditions. We affirm thoughts of peace, prosperity, freedom, and faith. We stand together in this truth, especially as we see how the world is currently engaged in great transformation. We sign up, we stand up to be part of this phenomenal change, beholding this truth, that no matter how things look or what our minds might tell us they mean, we go deeper to that place of great wisdom and Christ's presence that can always see right. In this time of prayer, we see with right eyes. Our faith always allows us to see only the good. When we can see only obstacles, faith sees opportunities. When we see scarcity, faith sees abundance. We remember, as we come together in prayer, we get the right vision, and that is what we are here to do. Thank you, God, and so it may be.
And good morning again, beautiful people. Dr. David Goldberg here, coming to you from our beautiful garden at Unity on the Avenue. Indeed, the church has left the building, and we're so grateful that we have this beautiful garden between our two buildings with this wonderful 7-circuit labyrinth, wonderful flowers, beautiful surroundings, an addition that many volunteers just created for us for more outdoor space. So please, anytime you are so moved, join us right here on the corner of 17th and Dahlia. The labyrinth is always open for you to engage, to support you in your spiritual practice. So while we may not be gathering in full community, you are always welcome, and we're always here to support you. So today, as we look at the theme of celebration, I wanted to tell you about my friend Olga. She is just a delightful being. She was born the youngest of 13 children to her mother and father in the San Luis Valley here in Colorado. And she tells the story of remembering her mother plastering the ceiling with mud to keep it from falling on the family. And she remembers her parents hanging a sheet to protect them as well. So she grew up very modest means. And fast forward then, as a successful residential real estate person here in the Denver area, we spend a lot of time together, and I love her wisdom, and I love her knowledge, and I love her kindness. And we were having an in-depth discussion, and I said, Olga, have you ever felt discrimination in your life? And she kind of smiled and she said, well, I guess that depends on one's perspective. Sometimes I could have felt discriminated against because I was barely 5 feet tall. Sometimes I could have felt discriminated against because I am a female. Sometimes I could have felt discriminated against because my last name was Manzanares. Sometimes I could have felt discriminated against because my first name is Olga, and people might anticipate or expect that I'm from another country. And sometimes I might have been discriminated against because my married name is Passarelli. She said, so honey, it's all in your perspective. And truth be told, I probably was on any number of occasions, and I just decided to keep going. And when I became a minister, she said, congratulations, I'm so happy for you. And I just want you to know that you're going to do my funeral. You're going to do my memorial when I move on. And I said, bless you, I'm honored and thank you. And do we really have to talk about that? She said, well, by all means. I think the best thing that we can do is talk to the people that we love about what they want to have happen at the end of their life. And when she said that, she pulled out a video cassette. Yep, a video cassette. And she said, I want you to play this at my memorial. And we looked at it together. And one of the previous times she was in Las Vegas, she did one of those things where she sat on a motorcycle and they ran the green screen behind her. So it looks like she's on this amazing motorcycle ride. And that's who she is, and that's how she is. And her motto, we just celebrated her 90th birthday with a drive-by parade. And isn't it good that we can find new ways to celebrate and new ways to engage and new ways to stay connected in these new times? So we celebrated Olga's 90th birthday, and her thing is always, honey, I'm going to live until I die. And that is exactly what she does. And that is the spiritual practice that I invite you into today as we look at celebration. What does that mean? How do we bring more joy into our lives? So today we honor Colorado Day. Since in the month of August, there really are no national or federal holidays, nor are there any card-created holidays created by the card companies. So August, we get to do whatever we want. We get to create, we get to explore, we get to celebrate whatever we want. So one of my mantras is never postpone joy. And to that end, I wanted to share with you this amazing book by one of my dear friends and mentors, Roger Teal, and it's called This Life is Joy. And Roger's invitation in this book is that every experience is an open invitation to our souls. Isn't that beautiful? And isn't that a wonderful frame of reference? Whatever you're experiencing at any point in your day is an invitation to open your soul. And that's what we know as metaphysicians, right? As those who believe in beyond the physical, we believe that when we change our thinking, we can indeed change our life. So if you're having an interesting experience in this day, in this week, in this time, in this year, if you're having some new feelings, some different feelings, if things are challenging for you, I invite you into that groundedness that we know is our natural state. And I invite you into that space of exploring what is yours to learn during this cosmic pause. You know, one of the things that strikes me is the similarities with a number of thoughts and thought systems over time. It was the 1930s when a researcher coined the term that came before mindfulness and that came before being in the flow. The original term there was in the zone. And that was created with regard to the education system. How can we work with our young people? How can we be more supportive of them in meeting them where they are to help them learn, grow, and expand in ways that are natural and organic and helpful for them, rather than this is the way we think education should be, right? So that is where we first heard the term in the zone. And then that did indeed morph into being in the flow. And that term was coined by a gentleman by the name of Mikhail Csikszentmihalyi, and he is an extraordinary being. And he moved the conversation from that of education into the arts community. So he and dozens, if not hundreds of researchers worked through artistic communities and photographers and artists and dancers and painters and speakers, very much anyone who identified as an artist. He wanted to know, where is that state where they are in the flow, where they lose track of time, where they forget to eat, maybe they don't sleep. We've all heard of the composers who would just work and work and work and work and work for days and days and days to create a masterpiece. Well, that is what Csikszentmihalyi would call being in the flow. And he did a TED Talk in 2004 that garnered somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 million plus viewers. And for those of you who are so inclined, I invite you to check it out. If you just type in CZ, there aren't too many names or words that start like that, and it'll populate with his name and his TED Talk. So now we come forward to our present day circumstance. And again, those of us on a spiritual journey, those of us on a spiritual path, are a bit more familiar with the term mindfulness. And for us then, that means going within to be in the zone, going within to be in the flow. My beloved and I love to walk, and we walk 3 or 4 miles every morning along Bear Creek Trail. And it's a beautiful, well-kept, well-maintained trail, and it's used by hikers and bicyclists and people with pets, and people ride horses, and it's a multi-use, multifaceted trail, and it's really very beautiful. And it struck me on one of our latest walks that there was a sign on the sidewalk that said, slow zone. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Even in these days of the cosmic pause, when we're being invited to stay home, when we're being invited to slow down, when we're being invited into more balance in our lives, that was a great reminder to me, for me, that it's okay to go slow. I also remember years ago in the corporate world when I was working out at the Denver Athletic Club, the guy who had all of the records, and he was the president of the club, a really nice guy, very driven, corporate attorney, had it going on so many levels. And he wrote a book, and he coined the term, or used the term, I don't know if he actually coined it, where he said, try softer. So tell me if that works for you. I invite you into maybe trying a little bit softer rather than always pushing, because that is our natural state. Joy is our natural state. Celebration is our natural state. And I'm also reminded, talk about being in the zone, I'm reminded of the story of Walt Disney. When he was literally on his deathbed, he was in the hospital dying from lung cancer, and he was staring up at the ceiling, and he was using the dots on the ceiling panels to create what turned out to be the original plan for Walt Disney World in Florida. His brother Roy came to the hospital to see him, to join him, and he was in that state. And he was explaining to Roy and using the grids on the pattern and where he saw the different lands and where he saw Epcot, I think before they even had the name. And he was in the zone even as he was getting ready to transition from this physical plane. And one more Disney story for you. My beloved niece, great niece, Emma, our family went to Disney World when she was 5. And we took her to the Bippity Boppity Boutique, and she was made up like a princess from head to toe. And yes, it changed her whole personality for that day. We had a wonderful time at Disney World in the park. We were watching the fireworks at 11 o'clock at night, and she didn't know anybody was watching her. And here's this little princess, and she just does a complete turnaround, and she says, "This is the best day of my life." And that's what I invite you into. That is what I invite you in to celebrate. That may today be the best day of your life. And indeed, let's set that intention. Today is a great day. Today is the best day of my life. Please join me in prayer. As I breathe in the most abundant air, I say thank you, Spirit. Thank you for the joy of celebration. Thank you for the wisdom, the knowledge to know that it is in my highest and best, and the highest and best of all, to never postpone joy. So we call in joy, we call in celebration, we call in happiness, because that is our natural state. It is good, it is great, it is grand, and it is perfect. And so we simply allow that to flow. We allow that to be. And in these days and in this month, with no official celebrations, we choose to make every moment a celebration. We choose to make every moment an opening for our soul, where we know that we are grounded in spirit and open at the top. So we just allow that to be, because that freedom, that spirit, that joy, that oneness, that connection is indeed our natural state. So it is from this place of tremendous thanksgiving and deep gratitude that I simply release. I release, I let go, I allow it to be. God is magnificent. This day is the best day yet. Thank you, Spirit. All is well, and so it is. Amen.
Of his 27th year, coming home to a place he'd never been before. He left yesterday behind him. You might say he was born again. You might say he found a key for every door. When he first came to the mountains, his life was far away, on the road and hanging by a song. But the string's already broken, and he doesn't really care. Keeps changing fast, and it don't last for long. Colorado, Rocky Mountain High, I've seen it rain and fire in the sky. Shadow from the starlight is softer than a lullaby. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. Rocky Mountain High, Colorado. He climbed cathedral mountains, he saw silver clouds below. He saw everything as far as he could see. And they say that he got crazy once, and he tried to touch the sun. Lost a friend, but kept the memory. Now he walks in quiet solitude, the forests and the streams, seeking grace in every step he takes. And his sight is turned inside himself to try and understand the serenity of a clear blue